Hi, your mother asked me to tell you something once in a week, approximately, about the persons and the stories from Serbian history and Serbian art, Serbian culture. So for me to uh, bring you closer this subject, I will have to start with something that you are not accustomed to. And this is Serbian epic poetry. It was a long time ago, before the time of television, many centuries before. And this is how people used to transfer the stories and heroes from the past, meaning they used to tell those stories singing. Now, this is not what you would you call singing, because it involves a certain instrument called gusle. What gusle were actually is the something similar to guitar or violin, except that the upper surface was not made from wood but from leather, so it would resonate stronger but also with shorter resonance, and it was played with a bow similar to the violin bow. Of course, with the hair of the bow made from horse tail, the same as the bow for violin. But this singing was not the singing including many waving sounds and prolonged tremolos and vibrations of the voice. As opposed to that, it was sang with very narrow scale consisting only of a couple of tones. Now I will try to reproduce the singing of the gusler. You can check yourself. There are some examples of guslar songs on the internet, so your parents can show you. But approximately it will go like this. Bože mili čuda velikoga, kad se šćaše po zemlji Srbije. And it would resemble the voice of a screamer, or somebody who would bring the news to the people, and doing it with a very urgent and dramatic tone. the images that were part of the story were very, very strong. And the mode of the singing of the story was full of exaggerated comparisons and exaggerating examples, examples of moral and higher value, which were served for as the idealized picture, which was served for the people like moral anchors or moral points to follow, moral examples to follow. Moreover, those songs were Serbian epic poetry were mostly produced and sang during the time of Ottoman occupation, meaning the occupation of the territories where the Serbs live by the Turks. It lasted not in the old areas where the Serbs live from 150 to 500 years, depending on the part of the territory. The southern territories were the most exposed by the Turkish occupation. But Serbian epic poetry was born before that time, and it included, by the same token, in the same line, it included other heroes from the periods before the Turkish occupation. The favorite hero of Serbian epic poetry was king in the poetry called the Prince, Marko Kraljević, or Marko the King. In the history known as King Marko, his family name was Mrnjavčević. This noble family ruled the territories which now belong to the Republic of Macedonia, which was once called also Southern Serbia. And those territories comprise the areas from the city of Skopje, which is now the capital of Macedonia, to the southern border, somewhere where the modern state border of Macedonia is. In those songs, King Marko would, with his horse, Sharac, meaning the spotty black and white horse, who, as Marko himself, was the model of man's strength. So Sharac was the model of the horse strength. Famous lines from the poetry was when Marko drinks wine, and the song would say, "Pola pije, pola Šarcu daje." Half of wine he drinks by himself, and half he's giving to his favorite horse. In the other song, Marko battles with the black Arab, and the famous line from that song is when Arab hits him with a bat, Marko says, "Are you joking, or are you fighting seriously. Da li se šališ ili zbilje biješ? It means, and then when he finds out that Arab is fighting seriously, then Marko takes his bat and called Buzdon, šestoperec, with the bat with head with 6 points, deadly weapon in the Middle Ages. And then Marko got mad and only hit the Black Arab once and immediately erased him from the ground. Then there is a song very famous called Marko Kraljević I Vila. The King Marko and the ferry. Now those ferries, vila or vile in plural, when there are more than one, they had a special relationship. It's not, those ferries were always friendly, and they were the beings who helped the hero in the critical moment when he was without the strength or he couldn't find his way out of the woods and faced the unsurmountable obstacle.